Greetings, YouTubers. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's 2 days before New Year's, and I thought it was about time to give you a little heads up and a thank you. It's been just about a year since I started this channel, and it's been very rewarding and a little bit of a surprise. I didn't know what to expect in terms of my own efforts and the response that I've gotten from viewers. I'm fast approaching 300 subscribers, which is obviously, you know, a pittance compared to some of the more successful channels. There's millions and millions of viewers out there, but I'm very happy to have the 300. And I appreciate your views, your comments, your likes, and you're passing the word along. So it's been a good year, and I've not accomplished everything I set out to do. There are a lot of videos that have yet to come to fruition. I'm busily working on things, and things pop up, and I film them when I can, and hopefully you enjoy that. I know the quality of some of the editing and shooting has not been quite what I'd like it to be, but I'm really focused on getting the information out there if it's something that I think that may be of interest to somebody, or something that I've not seen on YouTube before. I try not to repeat what other people have done, but I'd like to get more woodworking in the coming year, get my Bridgeport finished. I think that's been a very popular series. I've got 2 parts of that done, and I really need my Bridgeport, so I should be getting that done this year. I did get to the surface grinder, which I'm very glad to have that behind me. So, lots to come. For our next project, as if I need more projects, I have an old South Bend 9A, and it's in pretty good shape. There's only the one thing that's broken on it is the gear change lever up here. I have the broken piece. We're gonna hopefully TIG braze that back together and clean it up and paint it. But in the meantime, this has been sitting here a while. In the meantime, I was very, very fortunate to come across something for putting this back together that I think you'll appreciate. Let me show you what that is. What I found for the South Bend 9, quite serendipitously, we were collecting parts for the 10L, which we're rebuilding for the local robotics team. Well, actually, we're not rebuilding it. Well, I guess the team and I are rebuilding it. And in the process, these high schoolers are learning a lot about old-time machining techniques, scraping and, you know, painting and all that good stuff. So, so while we were collecting parts of that South Bend 10, we went back to the school from which we obtained the machine originally, and the shop teacher, well, they call them tech ed teachers now, go figure, you know. But he brings out a box, and it's just loaded with all kinds of little bits and pieces. So for the 10L, for the 10L, we found 2 of these. This is the Y-axis lead screw and nut, brand new, not a remake, not, you know, a non-OEM replacement part. This is original South Bend, brand new, old stock, shiny and clean, never used. Got 2 of those. Also, and this we actually need desperately, is, I can't find the other half. Here we are. These are, let me bring you in close on this. But these are the lead screw, half nuts. Brand new, match set, number stamped, original South Bend, never used. And a whole bunch of, I can't even count how many tool holders and centers. I mean, I got a lot of centers. I mean, most of these need to be reground, but plenty of centers. And the bed clamps. I don't know what I need all those bed clamps for. I got a stack of bed clamps. I got more bed clamps than I know what to do with. Some of them for the 9A. Okay, for the 9A, I also have two Y lead screws, carriage lead screws. I don't have the compound screw. I wish I did, but I got the ones that wear the most. One of these is absolutely brand new, and one of these was removed from service, but for the life of me, there's virtually no wear on this. I mean, the wear on this is minimal, if any. And it's in very good shape. It's not all chewed up. It's got a couple of apprentice marks on it from somebody, you know, screwing it out with a pipe wrench instead of a strap wrench. But it's so two of those in great shape. Really great stuff. And also for the South Bend 9, for the 9-inch, I have a half nut handle, the threading handle, brand new, original South Bend gray paint, and not one, not two, but 3 sets of matched half nuts for the South Bend 9A. Now, obviously, I don't think I'm ever going to go through 3 sets of half nuts in my lifetime on a lathe that I might use, you know, once in a while, if I don't just outright, you know, finish it and sell it, which is likely what I'm planning on doing. I mean, I'm not speculating. You know, I didn't get it for nothing. But I got it fairly cheap. Okay, and here's all the other parts for the 9A, which no big deal. The tail stock and some chucks and tool holders. And I got a very interesting, this is a homemade, well, not homemade, but a shop-made steady rest for this, which is really nicely put together. It came out of a professional shop, professional machinist. Then I got a small face plate, and I got the complete set of change gears for the 9 as well. It does not have a quick change gearbox. I would love to upgrade it to a quick change gearbox, but that level of ambition has yet to find me. But that's something that we'll consider or reconsider when we get into rebuilding that South Bend 9A lathe. I have a lot of chuck jaws, so I got to see if these fit into my chucks, which obviously, you know, or if it's not made by the chuck manufacturer, it's probably not going to fit. Got a lot of tooling. I got a lot of centers, 1/4-inch bits. This. I even got a jar full of way wipers, the dark gray felt way wipers, brand new, clean, never been used. So, yeah, nice haul. Nice haul. I got to get to fixing some stuff now. And I had a little more problem with the antenna. I'm going to stick some of that in here in this update today. So the saga continues. This pile of dirt here, half of which is frozen, but I do have an opportunity of a slightly warm day here. It's a few days before 2 days, in fact, 2 days before New Year's. So this is my my winch that holds up my antenna, the center board of which you see there, and that stump over there is the remnants of that tree. And that tree was very, it was dead. I mean, we knew it was dead, but it was very, very enveloped with bittersweet vines. And it was probably the bittersweet vines more than anything that kept it erect. Well, it came down. And when it came down, it fell across my wire here. And didn't damage the antenna, didn't pull anything down, but it did yank my anchor out of the ground here, which was intentional. I did design it that if something catastrophic were to happen, the anchor would pull out of the ground. But I guess I could have made it a little bit stronger. So this time, I'm anchoring it with a 3/4 inch piece of pressure-treated pine under a cinder block. And my hope is that that 3/4 inch piece of pine will fail at about or less than the breaking strength of the cable, which is about 2,200 pounds, just a little over a ton. So I'm thinking that 3/4 inch pine will fail at somewhere in that vicinity. Just a guess, mind you, nothing scientific. And you guys can comment one way or another if you like. But it's not a punky piece of pine, but it's been out in the weather for a while. But it is pressure treated. So we're going to backfill this now and hope for the best. This is my little Massey tractor, we lovingly refer to as Fergie. And Fergie is helped me out many, many times. There's the mount in the ground. Such as it is, I guess come springtime we'll do a little housekeeping around it. Right now, most of those lumps are just frozen solid. And there's the antenna up in the tree. And it's right up as I got the pulley, the upper part, as high as I could, and I think it's stuck in the tree. It goes over the limb. See how close I can get. It goes over the limb right there. And you can see there's the limb broke. It's kind of dangling. So I don't know how it's caught, but somehow it's caught on that broken branch. And I can't get it up any higher even when I take the load off it. So that's where it's going to have to stay until I either relaunch it or the tree comes down. Whichever happens first. This tree is apparently all but dead as well. And I don't think that whatever contaminants I have in my pond here have done any of these trees any good. Because there's used to be a turkey farm. Who's that? Oh, I have a visitor. Hello, lady. Hello, sweetie. This is the neighbor's farm cat. How you doing? Come here. Come here. Come here. Yeah. Oh, she's a sweetie. How you doing? Catch any mice today? Huh? Have you caught any mice today? Yeah. We can't have kitties in our house because Mom is allergic. But we can certainly treat them nicely when they come to visit. Yeah, oh yeah. Sweet cat. Okay. I'm gonna put Fergie away and call it a day. It's getting dark. It's getting cold. It's gonna be cold tomorrow. So Happy New Year. And I really just wanted to bring you up to speed on those things. I have been working on a logo for the channel. It's around the I squared theme, and for those of you who are a little bit into engineering and math, you know that I is the square root of -1. It's an imaginary number. You can't have a square root of a negative number, but there you go. And if you square it, you get 1. So I have been working on a logo for the I squared theme for the channel. So I hope to have that next year. I'd like to change my intro on the videos a little bit, maybe shorten it up, and do a few things like that. I would love it if you were to make suggestions, either content that you'd like to see that I may be able to provide. I think those of you who have subscribed know that I do electronics and some machining and some woodworking and, you know, various other things. So if you have some ideas, let me know. And hopefully we'll get some more equipment to assist in the editing, shooting and editing. I did make a set of lights. In fact, I'm using one right now. I made a large light box using the diffusers from a rear projection television set, and I'm going to make a video on making those lights. And I've made one, and I'd really like to have another. And they're a little bulky. They don't fold up, but they're made out of foam board. You know, the kind of foam board they make airplanes out of. Just paper on each side, 1/4-inch foam in between. So it's made out of foam board, and the diffuser sheets, as I said, from a rear projection television, and that works very well. I do have some more electronics to do this year. In fact, I have quite a bit. I have several radios on the shelf. I have a couple of 940s. I have I have 940s, Kenwood 2 940s, a 520. I think there's an ICOM 7000 in there. Bunch of stuff, bunch of radios, and I've got this signal generator on the block at the moment. This is an older WaveTech 520 megahertz signal generator, which is it's a nice little unit, and it also has a deviation, active deviation meter in it, which is something I don't have here. I can look at deviation on a spectrum analyzer, but it's nice to have a meter. You know, it's just something different. It's been just about a year, and I'm just shy of 300 viewers, which I know is a pittance compared to some of the more successful channels, but you know, I feel I earned that. Those 300 viewers, you know, I really worked hard for that. You know, I don't take it for granted. You know, it's a time out of your life that you spend watching me drone on about something, and I appreciate that. And hopefully we'll get better and more interesting and more concise and more visually stimulating as time goes on and my skills improve. I noticed a slight improvement from my first videos to the latter few videos have kind of gone downhill again. So, before I forget, I feel I must apologize for the transmission lines series. It was a colossal flop. It was my attempt to explain a very complex physical entity to the amateur radio community, because I think there's a dire need for amateurs to understand a little more of the fundamental physics that, you know, is embodied in their hobby. There's just so many radio operators out there today that really don't have a solid foundation in electronics, and they've obtained their license by whatever means necessary, mostly memorizing answers to the test or repeatedly taking practice exams, and they get into the hobby, and they're not helped by other hams who are not knowledgeable, and they're certainly not helped by vendors who really probably don't want them to be knowledgeable. And I think it behooves guys like myself, in the RF and engineering field, to promote that information for those who want to understand how things really work. And I think it's good for all of us in the hobby. So that was my attempt to put forth something that would be discernible to those who do not have a background in higher math. And I think the concepts can be understood with simple or very little mathematics. But it didn't quite come out as interesting as I would have liked, or as concise as I would have liked. There is a lot of information there, and I still would, like it if more people were to view it. I think there's an audience for it out there, but I don't know if I pulled it off quite the way I should have. So, that being said, the sequel to that series is going to be quite a bit more complicated, because it's going to go into antennas and matching networks, and it's what happens to the RF after it goes through the transmission line. How do you get it into the air, and all the quite a bit more stuff involved in that. And I'm going to try to do that very differently. I'm going to add some graphics. I'm going to have my sons, who are much more adept at using CAD software to produce animations and the like, and try to make it more interesting, a little bit more visually pleasing, other than just me droning on in front of a whiteboard. So we'll see where that goes. So hopefully that's upcoming. That's going to be a much bigger production project. We'll strive to do better. Anyway, again, thank you very, very much for your views and your subscriptions and your comments. And I hope you had wonderful holidays and have a wonderful, very happy New Year. And we'll see you in 2019. Thank you.